Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. I'm Kate, the Old Lady, and this is Advanced Squad Leader. ASL Scenario A, the Guards counterattack. We are facing Soviet turn 4 in this 5-turn scenario, so not very long to go toward the end here now, but things have gotten a little bit more contested. We'll have to see how things are going as we go into the rally phase. And there we are. I'm going to start with a wind change roll. We always start with a wind change roll because that's what we do around here when we're playing ASL. No wind change. So let's have a look at some of the things that need to go on in this rally phase. So rallying, we need somebody who can self-rally. Is there anybody in a position that they would like to self-rally? Well, for the Russians, I can see that there would be somebody in G4 who'd like to self-rally, and somebody in Z2 that would like to self-rally. I'm always going to say Z, I'm sorry, I was born in England and raised in Canada, and believe me, Z is how it's going to be. Sorry. If you're American, forgive me, it's going to be Z. So, it's not Z anyway, it's J2. So, never mind my fearsome declaration of allegiance to the Z that isn't there. Right, so J2 or G4, that's the two that we've got as possible Russian brokies. Given that they're not under desperation morale, it's fairly clear that the choice is the guys in J2. So we're going to try them. Let's see what we get. We'll try the roll and then see whether or not we needed what we needed to make it. 4, that's going to make it. I'll tell you right now, that'll make it. So he's going to rally. Let's turn him over. So there he is, a rallied conscript HASP squad. He needed that 4 to rally. I should have checked it before I made the roll. I didn't realize he'd been reduced quite so badly. Any good order unit may attempt to repair as many of its malfunctioned SW during any rally phase as it can fire in one phase by making a die roll, no leadership modifier for each. If the repair die roll is less than the repair number, blah blah blah, DR 6 eliminates the gun. Any other DR results in no change. Capture that. Okay, no, in fact, it does appear to be just fine. He can try and repair the gun. So let's see what he can do in terms of repairing the gun. He needs a 1 to repair it and a 6 to break it. We'll use the black die on this one. We're looking at the black die. I'm not going to get anywhere by clicking on OBS. Well done, Katie. The black die 6, he cacks it, he breaks it down completely, and it is eliminated. Goodbye, machine gun. So he does manage to get his self-rally, that was rather nice. But he completely cacked the roll for the machine gun, and it is eliminated. Now, let's see who we've still got out there who is broken. We need to find the brokies. Alright, I believe the 10-2 may have one in his area, so let's check him out. Okay, so it looks like there is one broken unit in the hex with him. This unit has an 8 morale. They get a -1 to the die roll for being in the building, and they get a -2 for being stacked with a good leader. So that gives them a -3. They're trying to get below 8, but they also have to deal with a DM marker, which gives them a +4. So they've got a +1 to get under 8. So 7 or better. 6 is good, but it does nothing with the sniper because this is not a sniper activation point. Never mind. They rally, and we lose the DM marker, which is rather nice for them. Okay, sorry, we got him stacked up again. Everything's fine there. I did accidentally move somebody else. Give me a second while I fix that. There are no other broken units for the Russians. Not that they can rally anyway. There is one under DM there in G4, but they can't rally him because he's got no leader and they only get 1 self-rally per turn, and they used it. rally phase. Right. That's another thing the Russians have to do. There's another machine gun here that needs fixing. So let's have a look at that. Right. So that was kind of pointless and useless. Oops. That's okay. Do the Germans have any brokies to deal with? They could self-rally, but they can't because it's not their turn. And they don't have a leader stacked with anybody who's broken as far as I'm aware. Let me just make sure. There's one place that might be. Let me just make sure. And there are no other broken units in there. Now, I did want to point out that Owen, I'm going to get your name wrong. I apologize for this. I don't know where your name is from. If I had some idea where your name was from, I'd have a better idea. I'm going to take a stab and say that it might be Welsh, in which case it would be Gaynut, Owen Gaynut. If I got it wrong, I do apologize. Feel free to let me know how it actually said, and I'll correct myself in a future video. Owen has been kind enough to leave some lengthy comments, and I do not say that in any way critically. I really appreciate the time he's taken to lay them out, showing where I've made mistakes, and I appreciate that so much. It is very much an act of kindness in the ASL community to show somebody how they've been making mistakes so that they can learn and get better at it. So I really appreciate that, Owen. Thank you very much. I wanted to shout you out in the video because I know how much work it is to make a big long comments like that, and I really appreciate you taking the time. We will move on to German anythings, and I don't think there's anything the Germans can do in the rally phase. So we will remove some DM markers. Okay, they're removed. Now we can move on to the prep fire phase. And it's time for the Russians to see what they're up about. I think I moved somebody. Hold on a second. This guy should have been up here, not in J5. He should be in J4. I quite clearly remember putting him there. And I know when I knocked him over earlier, I must have knocked him the wrong way. A different way than I thought, but he does belong in J4, that's for sure. And here, editor me will include a little tiny clip of something that shows that in fact that's where he did belong at the beginning of the video. You probably noticed that and have been shouting about it the whole time, but anyway, never mind. We have prep fire time. The question is, do we have any prep fire? Okay, I just discovered something, and I haven't done anything in the prep fire or movement phase, so I feel okay with making this change. There's a German squad in I7 that should have been given a chance to rally. I didn't realize there was a broken unit in there. There is, and he's got a 7 morale, so he gets -3, 2 for the leader, 1 for the building, which means he needs a 10 or less, but he's also under desperation morale, which means he needs a 6 or less to rally under the direction of his leader. Let's see what he can get. 6 or less. 2. Not only does he rally, but he's going to hob. Heat of battle. So that's going to be a little interesting as well. Let's see what that comes with on this chart. Heat of battle. Dun dun dun. And it is a +2 for Russian, but -1 for elite, so it's a +1 to the roll. We roll the 2 dice and see what we get. +1 to the roll. 6. Hero creation and battle hardening. That's kind of exciting. So we've got hero creation and battle hardening right there in that hex. He's going to rally. He's going to turn into a 458, or 468 I should say, and he's going to generate a hero. So let's do some exciting stuff here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we got a 468 in there and a hero. And that stack is ready to rock and roll again, and it's more dangerous than ever now that it got its rally done. So that's going to make it a little more interesting to try this, but I don't see any other way. That the Soviets need to win this scenario, and the only way I can see to do it is to make this incredibly risky move. So we are going to assault move? No, we're going to dash. We're going to dash from H5 to J5. That's here to here. Straight across the street. And yes, right in front of that machine gun, or pair of machine guns, which we will not be running directly in front of. We're going to run out in I5 instead of I6. So that's the path we're going to take, is H5, I5, J5. Just so we're clear. So we'll be taking point blank fire from the 467 at J4 up here, but we won't be taking the point blank fire from the kill stack. You know, it's not a perfect plan, but it's the plan we've got. We're going to start with one of the 628s dashing across the road like that. Let's see how we go. We get them out in the road, and the Germans yell, "Stop!" This is going to be interesting. There is only one of them in there. I thought there were two. Well, that's going to make it more interesting. So they're dashing across the road. That means that firepower is halved for anybody who is who doesn't have line of sight to the two locations that they are leaving from and entering. So that means that the kill stack down here has their firepower halved because of the area fire required to shoot at somebody in a dash. The other guys will be able to fire, but they will have to half and then double their firepower. So we're going to get some shots here, and it's going to not be pretty. But first, let's see what we have. We have the whole stack here with the leader and the hero. Yes, they will open fire on that particular place. 2 hexes away. That works actually quite well. So yes, they'll take that shot with what they've got. I don't know what that is, but we're going to find out. Okay, there's the contents of that hex. We have, is that 2 468s now? Or did I put a 648 in there by mistake? I can't read anything. Hold on just a second. I put the old and old lady plays. They are both elites now. They both battle hardened, and we got a, oh my goodness, this is going to be something. So they have 8 firepower plus 6 firepower plus 1 from the hero is 15 firepower, which unfortunately does not quite qualify them to shoot on the 16, which means they don't get to shoot on the 8 either. So they're going to get on the 6 chart. That's a little disappointing, but such is life in ASL. We have the 6 chart. Alright, they've got a shot at those guys with a, ooh my, it's going to be really ugly. They're going to get slaughtered. They've got a -2 from the leader, a -1 from the hero, and a -2 for the dash, like the running through the open. That's a -5 on the 6 chart. So something is going to happen to these guys, even if I roll 12. I didn't roll 12. I rolled a 9. A 9 minus 5 is 4. That's a 2MC. Alright, well that's about as good as you could expect to get, actually. And hope that they would still make it through without being casualty reduced. Anyway, they've got their shot at making the morale check. Let's try it. A 7. A 7 is going to be not good enough. It's a break. So they have broken right there in the street, and they will have to stop right there in the street. Broken they are. So the kill stack did its job and has been first fired. So let's get a first fire marker on there. Now it's important to note that the Germans did not retain rate of fire on that shot. So Any further fire will be sustained fire by the light machine guns, which, you know, has its penalties. We'll see whether that comes into play or not, but it's something they'll have to think about. Having failed at that, Plan B comes to mind. And Plan B involves a dash from G6 to H7 through G7. There's the dash there. It's in plain sight of at least 3 different units, all of whom are going to get to take a -2 shot at it, and the kill stack will get a better shot than that at it. But it's what we've got to try to see if we can steal a building here. So I know the H7 building doesn't count, but we could advance into the I7 building after that and make something happen in close combat. Why not? We've been risking it all game. It's very bloody and it really works. And it's Stalingrad, so it sort of fits. That's what we're going to do. Let's move that guy out into the street. He's dashing. Dashing through the street. Alright, we're going to start by firing. The guy from E8 is going to fire there and see what he can get in terms of a shot. That's a 4 -2 shot. So a 4 -2 shot on that 628. 4 -2. That's going to be a 5 on the 4 chart, which is a 1 MC for that 628. So he needs a 7 or better to make it past this morale check. He makes it, so he is fine, and that's the only morale. Oh, other people can fire at him, of course they can, at the same time. So let's have the kill stack have a go. No submachine guns on this one, or no light machine guns on this one. We'll just have the two squads, which is an 8. Hold on. Yeah, it's not 4 firepower for that first shot, it's 2 firepower. But mistake made. I'm moved on. Alright, so he had the morale check and he passed the morale check, so we're not going to make him take another one. So, kill stack. I think they will just fire their inherent firepower, which is going to be 4, and take the bonuses that they get from the leader and the hero. I think they get the hero bonus. I'm pretty sure they get the hero bonus. I'm sure Owen will tell me if I'm wrong. That's going to be a -5 shot again, this time on the 4 chart. 4 chart -5. That is a brutal shot. 6, which is a sniper activation potentially, but with a 6 rolled, it won't be. So a 6 on the dice, going to be down 5. It's 1 KIA. So that's going to finish them off. According to this, he's eliminated. So bye-bye. And that will leave. There would have been 1 firepower left before last time. These guys will leave 2 firepower, so that will supersede the 1 left last time. So let's put the 2 out there right now. That makes them final fired. There's little for it but to brave the residual firepower and try it again, because we really desperately need to get across that street and into that building. Well, we're going to have to be brave and do it anyway. Alright, so the 628 in G6, the guards will go through G7 to H7 dashing, and we'll try it again. It's going to be a 2 shot on the with the residual firepower. Let me just quickly check something here. And being attacked by that 2 firepower -2 shot, that's going to be a 2 -2 shot. Let's quickly check on that. Chapter A tables, 2 -2 needs a 6 or better to cause a pin check. Where did my dice go? There they are. That's a 2 on the two chart. That's a K1, which is going to be a casualty reduction. And yeah, so they're going down to a lower size unit. I'll be back in a moment with that unit. So not only are they reduced, but they will have to take a 1MC as a reduced half squad. So I'll be back in a second with them as a half squad. Okay, they have a 1MC to take, and that'll be that. So they need a 7 or better to see if they can pass that 1MC. A 6, again the sniper activation number, but not the actual sniper number. The 6 on the black die says we do not move the sniper. So we've dodged another bullet, quite literally. And 6 means that they pass that check, which means they get to move on into H7, but they're also getting attacked by the 467 here, who has first fired, and they can attack again, and I think they might. It's only a 1 shot because it's the final fire, and I screwed this up with the kill stack too. So the guys from F8 right here will fire on the dashing guys in the street, see if they can break them. It's going to be a 1-2 shot, so let's give it a try and see how it goes. 1-2 shot. That's a 6 on the 1 chart. That is not as sufficient to actually hit anything, so no effect there. I don't think the kill stack will fire again. They'll wait until he gets closer and fire point blank when it makes sense. So moving on to the H7 spot then. Here we go. One of them actually made it halfway. Half of them made it across the street. Now, to see whether or not it's actually going to make any difference, we have to send... That's going to be interesting. Okay, no, actually that'll be fine. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can figure out any way for the Russians to try and win this scenario. So, H7 has moved. The question is, what about F6? F6 will try the same dash, G7, H7, and see if we can make it. That's going to have to be the try. Alright, so we're dashing one more time. We've got a 2-2 shot to brave from the residual firepower first. 2-2 shot, that's a 5 on the 2 chart. That's a normal morale check for them. Let's see what they get. 11, they break. And I think that's going to do it for the Russians in this scenario. We have more movement to deal with. The 10-2 and his stack, they are going to move. And they can move with safety because the 467 in J4 has fired. So let's mark him as first fire. So he's marked as first fire, and because of that he fired at the guy at point blank range. He can't fire further away. So the guys from H3 will be moving across the street, out into the street I should say. That'll be 1. They're going to move all the stack all together with the leader, and we'll see what happens. Alright, where the Germans can do nothing. There's 2, and the Russians will move in, yeah, 1 into H5 and the other into G6 and then F6. So G6, F6 and H5. That's 4 movement points for the leader, 3 movement points for, or excuse me, 4 also movement points for the squad. And the leader will move 1 more. Sorry, that was a bit of an unorthodox movement phase, but with the restrictions on firing that people already have, I didn't think there was a whole lot of point to doing it in the most precise way. So that's the only chance they had, I figure, is holding on to that building and hoping to grab... No, 1 more move. Another dash. This time from the conscript half squad in J2 through K3 to K4. That's the move. Alright, so out into K3 first. The 8-1 and the squad and the heavy machine gun will try to fire at K3. Don't know if they've got the line of sight or not, but they're going to try. Let's see what we got. That is hellishly close. But I think it clips the building. I'm going to say that it does, in fact, clip. It's a judgment call. I'm not sure about it at all, but I think that it clips the building. It's hard to tell with the hex grid there. It's hard to tell where the building ends and where the hex grid starts. But I believe, judged on my viewing of it, that that is a blocked line of sight. So that being the case, he can freely move on into K4, where ironically the guy could fire on him no trouble. But, oh, he should take his roll for the shot anyway and see whether or not he broke the machine gun. He did not break the machine gun, so... Alright, that's a last desperate throw of the dice as well. We should be on movement phase, of course. There we go. We have some defensive fire that can happen. I'm not actually sure that we do. This guy should be marked final fire. Alright, 1 more bit of defensive fire that I'm going to take, just to see whether we can do something interesting. We're going to shoot from L6 on the leader in the 10-2 leader and the 6-2-8 squad in F6. And if you look down the hex spine, you can actually see that that's a clear line of sight. So that's from L6 right here, along this line of sight to F6. Bit of a sneaky line of sight, but it's one that I was looking for earlier, and one that I'm happy to have noticed. They'll be firing at with a 4 and a 5, an 8 shot, and that's it. So an 8 shot as they come into that, or as they're in that stone building, 8 shot up 3, because the wounded leader will not help. 8 shot up 3. I don't think an 11 on the 8 is going to do anything. It does not, and they do retain rate of fire on the machine gun, so they'll take another shot, because why not? This one's going to be on the 4 chart, because only the machine gun gets the sustained fire, and again it's not going to do anything, and this time he does not gain rate of fire. So, and the Germans in N5 will first fire on the Commissar and his boys in the next hex. So let's see what they've got in there. 2, 4, 6, 7 squads and a light machine gun. That gives them 11 firepower, doubled for point blank fire. Let's see what they get. 22 firepower means they're going to be on the 20 chart, and up 3 for the stone building. On the 20 chart, oh, and they cowered, that's too bad. So on the 16 chart, they got a 6, up 3 is 9, which gives a 1 MC. The 6 does not trigger the sniper because the 4 was rolled on the black die. So we've got a 9 on the 16, a 1 MC for the Commissar and his boys. So we'll roll for the Commissar first. He needs a 10 or better. He is fine. So can he keep the others from doing their thing? Hold on a second. So there are two squads, well, a squad and a half squad stacked with him. One is a first line squad with a morale of 7. We'll try them first. And actually they get an 8 because the Commissar is there. Unfortunately that's a 9 and they do break. And the other guy has a chance of getting through this on a 6 or better. This is a 1 MC. So in fact he didn't even come that close. Yeah, it's a 6 or better to pass this one. So the half squad passes, but the full squad breaks. And the Germans are one step closer to controlling that whole building. And if they do, that's pretty much it for the scenario. So not much the Russians can do here but to advance into combat and do the best they can. Not much to be done about it. Anything else by the Germans? I don't think there is. So we'll move on to advancing fire by the Russians. The only thing they can do up here is to fire the guys who didn't fire. I should have made them opportunity fire at least, but they didn't, so never mind. They have 2 firepower in there. They're going to fire at the next hex, which will double it, but it's advancing fire, so it's halved, which means it's 2 firepower, and it's a +3. So it's a 2 + 3 shot. It's pretty rank, but that's all we've got. So 2 + 3. 6 again, and it cowers, so it doesn't really matter, but they are, oh, can't cower, got the Commissar there, so no cowering. 6 on the die is not going to get the job done. 6 on the dice is not going to get the job done. It will not get the job done. A 9 is not going to do the thing with the thing. More advancing fire. The Russians in K4 will advancing fire on J4. That is going to be another 2 shot up 3. It's not a great chance, but it's the only chance they have. No, and so that's nothing. Now, here's the sneaky part. The Russian in H5 will fire on J4 as well. This should produce encirclement, which would be very happy, because it'll make life a little easier trying to get into that hex. So H5 is going to fire on J4. He's on the 6 chart, up 3. But it's down, sorry, then it's halved to 3, but he has assault fire, which means he gets to add 1, which is 4. So he's on the 4 chart, up 3. 4 up 3. 5 and an 8 on the 4 chart is nothing. So no effect there, unfortunately. That, unfortunately, it did not pay off. The only other advancing fire I can see that I need to take is the 10-2 with a 6-2-8. Halved and halved again, so it's on the 1, no, it's on the 2 chart because of the assault fire. 2.5, yes, it's still going to be on the 2 chart. Alright, 2 up 1 to fire at I7. On the 2 chart, up 1 is an 8 and does nothing. So that has no effect. And last, the guys in H7 will fire on I7 with their puny 3 firepower, halved and doubled, so they get it on a 3, which means they're on the 2 chart, 2 chart up 3. Again, another really crappy shot, which does not come off. So that's not going to help anything. And that's all the fire for the Russians in the advanced fire phase. The rout phase, let's see. No, he's definitely known. So, alright, this guy from I5 will go back through, will low crawl through h4 to toward g4, but we won't get there. So he's going to low crawl and stop there, because that's what a low crawl does. Also, the Russians who broke in g7 will break back toward the leader, which thankfully is allowed, and the Commissar has to watch his guys break and route away. So they're going to break and route away. First they'll route to N3, then N2, and they should stop there. That's going to do it for the route phase. I don't think the Germans had anybody who needs to route. I think they actually do need to route, and I'm going to take the position that they do need to route. So they're going to route through K6 to K7, which is outside of interdiction range of the 628. So I'm thinking that's pretty much safe. So out to K6 and then on to K7. I think that's allowed because they're next to a good order unit that knows they're there. So I believe that's the case. I'm sure if I'm getting it wrong, I'll be told, and I hope so, because that's the way it should work. That's it for the route phase. Advance phase, this is where it gets exciting. Alright, in the advance phase, I have little option but to advance into combat in all kinds of crazy places. So we will have an advance by the Commissar and his buddies from N4 to N5 into close combat with the Germans. Similarly, K4 will do an advance into the hex with the Germans. 328 here will do an advance against fearsome odds against into I7. My thinking is this: if we can get a lucky result in close combat here in in two of these buildings, then we'll be in good shape. I don't think we'll be in a winning place yet, but we'll be in good shape, because that's where things are going to get crazy. Alright, we're going to need 2 dice here, so that's fine. Let me just check get the right chart up. Close combat chart. Oh, and ambush chart, also important. Alright, we're going to start by doing the ambush on the Commissar's hex. So the Commissar's hex, we've got a +1 for the attacker because they are lax. They're conscripts, so they're automatically lax. There's no leadership modifier. Nobody's stealthy, nobody's concealed. On the other side, the Germans are nothing surprising either. So the Russians have a +1 and the Germans have a flat roll. So the Russians on the red die, Germans on the white. Russians get a 2, Germans get a 3, no ambush. So having resolved that, we have a strength of 3, 1 for the Commissar and 2 for the half squad, against 2 Germans worth 4 each. So it's 3 to 8, which is going to be on the 1 to 4 chart. They need a 3 or better to kill the Germans. The Germans, for their part, will fight back against the squads. 8 to 3 is fine, and that is on the 2 to 1 chart. They need a 7 or better. The Russians actually will need a 2 or better. Obviously a 2 is the best they can get, so they need a 2 to beat the Germans, while the Germans need a 7 to beat them. Okay, so we'll roll for the Russians first. They need Snake Eyes. That is not Snake Eyes. And the Germans need a 7 or better. And they win it, and they eliminate the stack. I think that's pretty much it for the game, but we'll play out the rest of this turn. The Russians in the center have a 1-on-2 against a 2-on-1. but they have a -1 because they're inexperienced. The Germans don't. So it's, yeah, it's pretty ugly again. It's 1-2 versus 2-1. And so it's a 4 versus a 7. The Russians need a 4. They don't get it. And the Germans need a 7. They do get it, which means again the Russians are eliminated. We have the 328 attacking in close combat against a huge stack. Alright, there's the stacks opened up. The Germans have 2 4.68s and a hero, a 149. That gives them an extra firepower, as does the leader. So they've actually got 10 firepower. The Russians have 3. So the Germans are on the 3-1 chart, and they get a -2. Sorry, a -3. My mistake. While the Russians are on the 1-4 chart and get a +1. So, no, they don't get a +1, excuse me. So, we didn't roll for ambush on the other one. Oh well. I'll roll for ambush on this one. We'll see whether or not one side gets it or the other. Very likely that the Germans will get it. Red for the Russians, white for the Germans. Red for the Russians, it's going to be 3. And that's it. No ambush. Okay, so now the Russians need a 1-4, and it's a plus. No, it's not a +1. They need a 3 or better to eliminate the German stack. That's a big order, but a 3 or better. They do not get it. Can the Germans get a 3-1, which is an 8 or better? I think they probably can, especially when you consider they've got also 3 extra modifiers to that, so they need an 11 or better. 10. That's enough. The Russians are eliminated in close combat again. Well, I think at this point it is clear the Russians can no longer win. Not only do they not control any extra buildings, they control 1 extra building from what they started with, but they've actually lost a building from what they started with. So they're actually down 2 buildings from what they need to win, and they've only got 2 unbroken squads left. So it's not going to happen. This one's over. And as much as it kills me to stop a game before it's done, it's done. There isn't any way to come back for this one. So it's going to be the end of this episode and the end of this series. I'll do a wrap up and talk over some of the ways that this scenario went with my next episode, and then hopefully after that my new game will have arrived. I have ordered a new game, and hopefully it will have arrived, and when it has arrived we will have an unboxing video. So I'm looking forward to that one. It's another World War II game. I'm not telling you what it is until we do the unboxing video though. So I hope that you've enjoyed the episode. I am sorry that we weren't able to play the scenario out to the end, but I think at this point it's very clear that there is no way to get through. I did the best that I could in the final turn with the Russians trying to take the throw of the dice with close combat, but they just didn't have enough left to do it. So that's not much to be done about that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day, and take care. And that makes them fire for... Excuse me.